Hold on before you scroll past this, you need to understand what WWE is about to do with this match, and I promise you, by the time I'm done explaining, you're going to be absolutely furious. Stephanie Vaquer defending the women's world title against Nikki Bella isn't just a questionable booking decision, it's a complete slap in the face to every woman who's been grinding in that locker room for years. It's proof that WWE has learned nothing about how to build legitimate stars, and it represents everything that's wrong with how this company values actual wrestling ability versus nostalgia and name recognition. And the worst part? They're betting that you won't even care enough to speak up about it. Let's start with the absolute basics here because some of you might not even realize how insane this match announcement actually is. Stephanie Vaquer is one of the most talented wrestlers on the planet right now. This woman has been tearing it up in multiple promotions, putting on absolute classics in CMLL and NJPW, showing a level of technical ability and athleticism that puts most of the WWE roster to shame. She can work any style, she can tell stories in the ring without saying a word, she connects with audiences authentically, and she represents the future of women's wrestling. WWE signed her knowing she was special, knowing she could be a cornerstone of their women's division for the next decade. And somehow, they've already managed to screw it up by putting her in a match against Nikki Bella. Now let's talk about Nikki Bella, and I want everyone to really hear this without letting nostalgia cloud their judgment. Nikki Bella was part of an era of WWE women's wrestling that was primarily focused on looks over ability, on reality TV crossover appeal over actual in-ring work, on 5-minute matches that existed to give male viewers something to look at between the real matches featuring men. That's not me being cruel, that's just facts about how WWE treated women's wrestling during the Bella Twins era. Nikki improved over time, I'll give her that. She had some decent matches toward the end of her full-time run, but she was never on the level of the Four Horsewomen, never on the level of the international stars WWE has signed in recent years, and she certainly isn't on the level of someone like Stephanie Vaquer who's been perfecting her craft on the independent scene and in Japan. But here's what makes this match absolutely maddening: Nikki Bella hasn't wrestled regularly in years. She's been focused on reality television, on her business ventures, on being a celebrity outside of wrestling. She's not grinding on house shows, she's not working to improve her skills, she's not paying her dues or staying sharp or doing any of the things that actual full-time wrestlers do. And yet, WWE is going to bring her back and immediately put her in a world championship match against their new star. Do you understand how insulting that is to every single woman in the back who's been working week after week, putting their bodies on the line, trying to get opportunities? It tells them that none of their hard work matters because WWE will always prioritize a familiar name over someone who's actually earned their spot. Think about all the women on the main roster right now who should be getting this opportunity before Nikki Bella. Think about wrestlers who've been there for years, building their characters, improving every week, getting crowds invested in their stories. But instead of giving any of them a championship program with Stephanie Vaquer that could elevate both women and create a new star, WWE is going backwards. They're reaching into the past, pulling out someone who represents an era that we're supposed to have moved beyond, and they're expecting you to be excited about it because you recognize the name. This is the exact same pattern WWE has repeated over and over again, and it's exhausting. They sign incredible talent from around the world, they generate buzz and excitement about these new acquisitions, they get fans invested in seeing what these wrestlers can do on the biggest stage, and then they immediately undercut them by booking them against legends or nostalgia acts or part-timers who don't need the wins or the exposure. It's creative bankruptcy. It shows a fundamental lack of confidence in their own ability to build new stars, a belief that fans only care about people they already know, and a disrespect for the intelligence of the audience. What's the story here? Why does Nikki Bella deserve a championship opportunity? Has she earned a #1 contender spot? Did she win a tournament? Did she return and go on an impressive winning streak? Or did she just show up and WWE immediately handed her a title match because they think her name will generate some mainstream attention and maybe get them some coverage on entertainment websites? That's not how championship matches should work. Titles are supposed to mean something. #1 contenderships are supposed to be earned through competition and storytelling, but WWE treats their championships like props that can be challenged for by anyone at any time as long as it serves whatever random direction they've decided to go in that week. And let's be honest about what this match is actually going to look like. Stephanie Vaquer is going to have to work twice as hard to make Nikki Bella look good, to cover for the ring rust and the limited moveset and the fact that she hasn't been training at the same intensity as full-time performers. Vaquer is going to have to slow down her offense, simplify her sequences, and basically wrestle a completely different match than she would against someone who's actually at her level. That's not fair to her, and it's not fair to fans who want to see what she's truly capable of when she's not being held back by her opponent's limitations. But here's where it gets even worse: there's a very real possibility that WWE is going to have Nikki Bella actually win this match. I know that sounds insane, I know you're probably thinking there's no way they do something that's stupid, but think about their track record. They brought Goldberg back to squash Kevin Owens and take the Universal Championship. They've had part-timers beat full-time champions more times than anyone can count. They prioritize moments and surprises over logical booking constantly. So what's stopping them from having Nikki Bella win the Women's World Championship in her return match, generate some headlines about its shocking upset, and then try to use her celebrity status to get mainstream media attention? If that happens, if Nikki Bella actually wins the championship, it would be one of the most disrespectful booking decisions in modern WWE history. It would tell every woman in that locker room that their work doesn't matter, that years of dedication and improvement count for nothing compared to having appeared on reality TV. It would undermine Stephanie Vaquer before her run even really gets started. It would devalue the championship by putting it on someone who's not going to defend it regularly because she has other commitments. And it would confirm every criticism that people have made about WWE's inability to properly book women's wrestling despite all their corporate messaging about evolution and revolution. Even if Vaquer wins, which she should, the damage is already done by making this match in the first place. Vaquer's first major championship defense should be against someone who makes her look like a star, someone who the audience genuinely believes could win, someone who elevates the division regardless of the outcome. Instead, she's defending against someone who represents everything women's wrestling has tried to move past, someone who's going to make the match feel like a step backward no matter how it goes, someone whose presence in the title picture blocks opportunities for women who've actually earned them. Think about the message this sends to young girls watching who want to become wrestlers. It tells them that technical ability doesn't matter as much as being famous for other things. It tells them that you can leave wrestling for years to pursue other interests and immediately come back to championship opportunities while people who never left have to keep waiting for their chances. It tells them that WWE doesn't actually value wrestling skill as much as they claim to during their press releases and corporate presentations. And what about the international stars WWE has been signing? What about the women from Japan, Mexico, Europe, and other parts of the world who were told that WWE was now serious about showcasing the best women's wrestling on the planet? How do you think they feel seeing Nikki Bella get a championship match while they're struggling to even get television time? How do you recruit the next generation of international talent when you keep demonstrating that you'll always prioritize homegrown reality stars over legitimately skilled wrestlers from other countries? The frustrating thing is that WWE knows better. They've shown they can book women's wrestling properly when they actually try. The Four Horsewomen era produced incredible matches and storylines. Recent years have given us Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, and others being treated as legitimate main event stars. They've had women headline WrestleMania and put on match of the night performances. So this isn't about capability or not knowing how to do it right. This is about consciously choosing to prioritize the wrong things, to go for cheap nostalgia pops instead of building for the future, to undercut their current roster in favor of people who don't even work there anymore. What should this match have been? Stephanie Vaquer should be defending the championship against someone like Io Sky, a fellow international star who could deliver an absolute classic that showcases both women's abilities. Or against Tiffany Stratton, a rising star who needs that spotlight to continue her ascent. Or against Liv Morgan or Raquel Rodriguez or any number of full-time performers who could benefit from a high-profile championship program. Instead, we're getting a nostalgia match that serves nobody except WWE's misguided belief that familiar names are always better than new talent. And let's talk about what happens after this match, because the consequences extend beyond just one night. If Vaquer wins, she's now the champion who beat that person everyone remembers from reality TV, which is a terrible way to establish a new star. Her championship reign is immediately associated with a step backward rather than moving forward. If Bella wins, the division gets thrown into chaos with an absentee champion who can't work a full schedule. Either way, momentum is killed, opportunities are wasted, and women who should be in that spot are left wondering what they have to do to get noticed. This match also perpetuates the idea that women's wrestling is interchangeable, that any woman can wrestle any other woman at any time because styles and abilities don't really matter. That's the opposite of what we should be doing. We should be treating women's wrestling with the same specificity and attention to matchups that we give to men's wrestling. We should be talking about style clashes and dream matches and who matches up well against whom. Instead, WWE throws names together based on availability and perceived star power without considering whether the actual match will be any good or whether it serves the division's long-term interests. The saddest part is that some fans will actually defend this booking. They'll say Nikki Bella is a legend and deserves respect, or she's bringing eyes to the product, or stop being so negative about everything. But that's exactly the mentality that allows WWE to keep making these mistakes. By accepting mediocre or backwards booking just because it involves someone you remember fondly, you're enabling the company to never improve, to never commit to building new stars, to never take the women's division as seriously as it deserves to be taken. Here's what needs to happen: fans need to make it clear that this isn't acceptable. Comment below telling me exactly what you think about this match and whether you're actually going to watch it or if you're as frustrated as I am. Share this video so more people understand what's actually happening here beyond just the surface level announcement. Let WWE know on social media that you want better for the women's division, that you want Stephanie Vaquer to be given real opportunities against worthy opponents, that you're tired of nostalgia booking taking spots away from current roster members who've earned them. Stephanie Vaquer versus Nikki Bella for the Women's World Championship should never have been booked. It's a match that serves no one except WWE's outdated ideas about what draws money and what fans want to see. It disrespects Vaquer, it disrespects the current roster, it disrespects the evolution that women's wrestling has undergone, and it disrespects you as a fan by assuming you're too stupid to notice or care. This is your chance to prove them wrong. Make noise, demand better, and don't let WWE get away with treating their women's division like it's still 2010. The future of women's wrestling depends on fans caring enough to hold the company accountable.